And we're back. Shabbat Shalom, y'all. So, in the previous one of the chapter 17 of the book Bere'shiyth, Genesis, we had read about the covenant that Yahuwah, our Elohim, had cut with Avram, and he was getting into the details of that arrangement, of that covenant, to be circumcised, and all of his, any man on the 8th day of his birth, any man that is born in his house, on the 8th day was to be circumcised, and every male in his house, whether it was him, Abraham, any of his servants, and including his son, who was 13 years old at the time, Ishmael, was also to be circumcised. And his promise, he's reestablishing his promise to him that he's going to exceedingly multiply his seed. So he's going back again and re-implementing, re-establishing and reaffirming the what he had said before, making him a great nation. Yahuwah also changed Avram's name to Abraham, and the promise that Sarah will be having a child by Abraham. And Avram kind of laughed it off in his heart, and was like, I'm 99 years old, 100 years old, and Sarah's 90, it's like, is she gonna, I'm gonna have a child by her, and she's gonna bear him, and Avram says to Yahuwah, like, hey, let your covenant be established through Ishmael. And he said, I've heard your request about Ishmael. He's gonna be a great nation too, and he's gonna have 12 princes, to be exact, will come from his line, from his seed. And my covenant that I establish will be with your son through Sarah, and you're going to call him Yitzhak, Isaac, and I'm going to establish my covenant with him and his seed forever. And this covenant of circumcision, it says, through all your generations. Well, we're still giving birth to babies here in 2026, so be it that what it is, that's still a covenant in act today. Disagree or whatever you want with that statement, however you want. But there's reaffirming evidence that later on in the scriptures that shows that. Anywho, let's carry on. And so Avram agreed with it, and so he was circumcised the same day his son Ishmael was circumcised, the same day all of the men in his household, men servants and all, were circumcised. So they weren't feeling too great at this point. Um, let's jump into chapter 18 now. And Yahuwah appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, and said, My Adonai, if now I have found favor in your sight, pass not away, I pray you, from your servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, and I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are you come to your servant. And they said, So do as you have said. And Avram hastened into the tent to El Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Avram ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it to a young man, and he hastened to dress it. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah your woman? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto you according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah your woman shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? And Yahweh said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child which am old? Is anything too hard for Yahweh? At the appointed time I will return unto you, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but you did laugh. And the men rose up from thence, and looked down toward Sidon. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And Yahuwah said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I know that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahweh, to do justice and judgment, that Yahweh may bring upon Abram that which he has spoken of him. And Yahweh said, Because the cry of Sidon and Amorah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go now, and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence, and went toward Sidon, but Abraham stood yet before Yahweh. And Abraham drew near, and said, Will you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Will you also destroy and not spare the place for 50 righteous that are therein? that be far from you to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked? That be far from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And Yahuwah said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto Adonai, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Will you destroy all the city for the lack of 5? And he said, If I find 40 and 5, I won't destroy it. And he spoke unto him yet again, and said, Peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, O let Adonai not be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall be 30 found there. And he said, I will not do it, if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto Adonai. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, Oh, let not Adonai be angry, and I will speak but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And Yahuwah went on his way as soon as he had left communing with Avram. And Avraham returned unto his place. This concludes the reading of Bere'shiyth, Genesis chapter 18. Blessings, y'all. See you on the next one.